I'll make note.
I've seen it, yeah.
You wrote, so before Planned Parenthood, you started an organization called America Votes.
Yes.
Which was a voter reform organization, is that?
I mean, it still exists. I mean, it's actually the biggest conglomeration of, this is what happened, and I write about it in the book. It's like every progressive group was out doing their voter registration and their voter turnout, and none of us were talking to each other. It was crazy, right? And so, I'm just making an assumption, you're probably on everybody's list. So at election time, you probably get a call from the Environmental Defense Fund and the Human Rights Campaign and Planned Parenthood. And so we're saying, this is nuts. And also, we're not talking to people we need to talk to. We need to talk to people that aren't voting, right? And so the idea of America Votes is, what if we all got in a room and divvied up all the work and everybody went out and did it? And that is, from here on out, that's how the progressive world has worked. So we can maximize our resources. And I remember very clearly, this was before I went to Planned Parenthood, but like there were places in Pittsburgh we didn't need to get the vote out. We needed to get more voters out. And it was better to door knock with the steel workers than it was with Planned Parenthood. And so the Planned Parenthood folks would go door knock with the steel workers. And that's what we just have to be, that's what we have to be about more, I think, as progressives, is less about getting credit and more about winning. Okay? This is all about winning and building power and doing it collectively. And as I've always found in politics is if you win, there's plenty of credit to go around in the end.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there'll be more of that.
For sure. You wrote about that experience. You said, don't wait for all the boats to get in the flotilla. Just start moving.
Right.
You may lose a few people and others may join up along the way, but if you wait until everyone is 100% on board, you'll never get going.
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic advice. And I also thought, I don't know anyone who's better at you than sort of answering the question of, particularly for young people, and I know there's some in the audience, but there are also a lot of people who aren't so young here who are fired up and fired up again after 30 or 50 years of being less fired up. That if you give us maybe a couple of pieces of advice for engagement, what you would say in terms of what's the most valuable things besides getting out the vote that we can do right now.
Yeah.
And sort of what your a couple of kernels of wisdom on how to activate.
Yeah, well, I mean, and actually that's why I wrote the book. Because like every day someone was stopping me saying, with this like look in their eyes, like complete terror, like what am I supposed to do? And I thought, well, okay, instead of talking to every person on the C train, I'm going to actually write it down in a book, and then everyone will have it, and we won't have to do it one by one by one. So it's a great question. I think the first thing is, don't wait for someone to call you. Don't wait for instructions, okay? Because if you just do more than you're doing, that's going to be better than sitting home and watching the TV and yelling and being frustrated. So turn off the TV, go outside, and do something. I think the second thing is, and I know you said, except for, this is really important. So knitting your pussy hat, great, right? And marching is great, and going to town hall meetings is great. But voting is the whole thing. If we don't vote, then we have not actually finished the job. And so I do think it's easy to say, well, of course voting, but you know what?
I don't need to suggest that. I just know you're
it's so interesting because I was just in Detroit, Michigan. In Michigan, just as an example, a really important state this election, about 750,000 women will not vote without more work. I mean, women who voted in the presidential election would fall off the office. So it's just, there's no way to overstate how important it is. You can't make any assumptions that anyone is going to go vote in the midterm elections. But the last thing I guess I'd say, particularly because it's August now and we got 3 months till the midterms, is go volunteer on a campaign. Okay, there are folks all across Massachusetts. I did this the other night, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in New York, and I said, look, if you got nothing else to do, quit your job and go work for Stacey Abrams, who's trying to get elected governor of Massachusetts. Okay, here's the funny thing, and the price of parents somewhere in the world are going to kill me. I was getting on the plane to fly over here, and I got a text from someone I didn't know, and she said, hi, you never met me, but I heard you speak the other night in New York City, and you said that if you did everything else, if you quit your job and go work for Stacey Abrams. So I quit my job, and I'm starting as a digital deputy director tomorrow. I just wanted to let you know. So anyway, I just think this is a time in which there are record numbers of women running. There are women of color running all across the country. They don't have the kind of resources. They don't kind of have the institutional support. And anybody who can do anything to help them get elected in November, you will not only do a good thing for democracy, you'll feel good about yourself, and you'll meet the most amazing people that you'll know for the rest of your life. So that's my pitch right now. Go work on a campaign.
I love it. I wondered if you just talk a little bit more about your time at Planned Parenthood. Obviously, you were there during some incredibly
crazy times,
critical years, and under when women's reproductive rights, among other things, were under incredible assault. What was, if you can even say this, what would you say your biggest challenge was while you were there?
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt, the biggest challenge is who's in office. So no matter how good we were, and we did all kinds of amazing things. I mean, like there's now like so many different kinds of birth control. Like we just did clinical trials on a self-injectable birth control that you could take home that lasts for 3 months. Can you imagine, for all of you who would be, who used to have to use birth control forever, it's like you don't go and get like a year's supply of birth control with 4 little shots that you could take home. I mean, it's just incredible what technology and everything. But politicians, that's the big problem. And yet, and Don Berwick is here somewhere. I just want to say, Don Berwick has done more for public health than anybody I know in America. So I don't know, I just want to say thank you, Don, for what you have done and do. I will appreciate this. I mean, it's easy to focus on the bad things, but one of the big fights we had at Planned Parenthood when I was there was during the ACA fight, was to see if we could get birth control covered. I mean, it sounds radical, I know, the idea. In fact, this is my favorite statistic. Actually, it's a Guttmacher statistic. And I know there's a couple of folks here that were delivered by Alan Guttmacher, which I think is like one of the most amazing little pieces of news I got before I came on. But this is my favorite Guttmacher statistic. The average woman in America who wants to have kids spends 5 years having kids, an average of 2.3 kids, and then spend an average of 30 years trying not to get pregnant. Okay, so that's like a lifetime of trying not to get pregnant, which I try to explain to men in Congress. But here's the thing, we had a huge fight over birth control. I mean, we had young people dress up in giant birth control packs and run around college campuses, and we like lobbied the White House. And I mean, the best day of my entire life was the day Barack Obama called me, President Barack Obama, if you remember him, and to say that he was about to announce finally, after this long fight we had, that he was going to announce that all people would get birth control covered at no cost in their insurance plans, no matter where they work. And now more than 70 million women in this country have that benefit, and it changed everything. So there's, I mean, that's why fighting is worth it, and trying to do big, audacious things, because eventually you win. And today we're actually at the lowest rate of teenage pregnancy in the history of the United States of America. And that's because people stood and fought, and there were tough times. Obviously, being hauled before Congress was not my idea of, like, that wasn't what I was planning to do when I took the job. But I will say, actually, can I just say something about that congressional hearing? Yeah. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a whole video scam around Planned Parenthood, and suddenly Planned Parenthood became like target number 1 for Congress. And in fact, we were being investigated by 5 congressional committees at the same time. That's more than Enron, that's more than the financial crisis. I mean, this was like everybody. And so I agreed to go testify before Congress, before this committee, and although it's interesting, Jason Chaffetz was the chair of that committee. He's the one, I don't know if any of you saw any of the hearing, but he was the one who did the famous reveal of this chart that he claimed was a Planned Parenthood chart that showed something about our abortion rates going up. And then, of course, at the bottom it said, produced by this anti-abortion organization. And I pointed that out to him, and he said, well, we're going to get to the bottom of that. And which I don't think he ever did get to the bottom of that. And also, he resigned. He's not in Congress anymore. So let's just say staying power is something. We got to give, But anyway, that whole hearing was completely nuts. But in the middle of it, it was a lot of mansplaining, a lot of like folks with big veins coming out of their forehead, like pointing at me. And in the middle of that hearing, my son Daniel texted me. He said, "Mom, I'm watching on TV. You're doing such a good job. I think raising me all those years really helped you prepare for this hearing." Like, he really was actually correct. So anyway, but I mean, the thing about that hearing was, what was important is that even though the idea of that was to discredit Planned Parenthood, embarrass me, humiliate me, it actually had the opposite effect. Because after that hearing, I couldn't stop anywhere on the street without someone saying, "Aren't you that lady from Planned Parenthood? Who were those men?" And our approval rating went up. And that was really,
to Cecile.
no, it was really wild. It was a teachable moment. It was a chance to say to millions of people glued to their TV screens about the great work that we did. And so you just have to, my friend Dawn Legans, who runs all of our politics and communications, said, if the idea is to take lemons and make lemonade, we're like a lemonade factory at Planned Parenthood. It's like all we do every day. Take these opportunities. So,
let's talk a little bit about those people. I think probably we all think about this. You're not a psychologist, but I think you're probably better equipped to answer this question than a lot of people. I'm curious what you think when you get a bit inside the mind of people who are so avidly anti-choice, and if you have ever sort of come up with an answer to that question that isn't, I think obviously faith plays an enormous role in people's feelings about this issue. They can't be all about faith.
no.
And so
Certainly not in Congress.
No, but and not just in Congress. We the people who are outside the abortion clinics and the people who are driving, the people behind the people who are driving this. I'm so puzzled by it often. I think other people are as well. And I thought you might have, is it control? Is it fear? Is it what do you think is the sort of driving force behind people who are so hell-bent on keeping women from being able to control their own bodies?
Well, I think that's such a, that's a whole nother, we could have a year-long course, maybe we could teach that in your classes, because I think it's complicated. And look, I have respect for people who, for their own personal reasons, they think abortion is not something that they would ever choose, they would have their family. I think, but the vast majority of people in this country can actually separate out their own personal feelings from what they want the government to tell everybody else to do with their lives. And in fact, that is the crazy thing. Is right now, Roe is, especially with Kavanaugh's appointment, Roe is the strongest level of support ever in the history of the country. I think it's upwards of 70% of people think that Roe should be the law of the land. And they support Planned Parenthood. And so I just don't think we can say, just because someone believes that abortion is not their decision, would not be their decision, they also can strongly support the ability of people that are pregnant to make their own decisions. And I write about this in the book. In Mississippi, in South Dakota, we beat abortion bans. The voters defeated abortion bans in states you would say are incredibly conservative. So that's one side of it. I think the other piece of this is, if this was just about abortion, then we might be having a different conversation. But the very same members of Congress who have tried to shut down Planned Parenthood, who are trying to make abortion illegal, they're now trying to make birth control something that your boss decides about. This administration is now basically putting a domestic gag rule that prevents medical professionals from telling women about their rights. And now they're trying to end the sex education program in this country that has led to the lowest rate of teen pregnancy. So I don't actually think it's about religion. I think it's about power and control. And I'll just leave it there. But we have, again, also though, it's not like I'm going to write anybody off. Well, there's one guy, yeah. But I do think that we have to just be be open and open-hearted and talk about why we believe the things we are doing. One of the things we did learn at Planned Parenthood was this whole binary of like pro-life and pro-choice, it doesn't work. And two, it doesn't reflect where people are on the issue of abortion and reproductive health care. People believe it's actually a deeply personal issue and that we have to respect that, and I do. And by forcing people into some kind of political binary, we're missing millions of people. And we were for years at Planned Parenthood. So now we don't even use those terms anymore. We just talk about the fact that it's the right of women to control their bodies, and it's the right of pregnant people to make one of the most important personal decisions they ever will make about their pregnancy.
So, I don't know if you saw the piece a few weeks ago that Cindy Levy wrote.
Yeah, good friend.
So, probably a good friend of yours. I've thought a lot about that piece since for those of you who didn't see it, it was a piece, she's a magazine editor, former magazine editor, and she wrote a piece about her abortion and about the idea of, somewhat, the piece was about bringing stories of abortion out of the shadows by telling those stories in the way that the Me Too movement has done.
Correct.
And that, as we know from Marshall Gans and the way activism works, it begins with storytelling. It begins with the story of me.
Yeah.
But it is also a privacy issue. And I'm curious to know. When I was thinking that, I was thinking, maybe I'll go in there and have everybody who's had an abortion raise their hand. But it's the idea that we are, those of us who have had abortions, are still even as progressive and as deeply compassionate and deeply open as we are about it, it still catches a little in your throat. And I guess I'm curious about how you think that idea works as a potential political tool. That if we were all able to shed that shame and take it out of the shadows, does it work? And does it work as more than a cathartic experience, but perhaps a political tool?
Yes, I believe this strongly, that you're not going to ever, if we don't have culture change, we're never going to have true lasting political change. And so I do think the whole movement, and certainly the LGBTQ movement has demonstrated this, as have other movements, that folks sharing their stories, and again, I think you're right, it's everybody's right to share their story and not share their story. But I do think those of us who can, I've seen personally the difference it makes.
Yeah.
And actually, two of my colleagues here, I re-met two women who I graduated with at Brown, and I was there a year ago, or a couple years ago, for a big festival, and it was, or like 125 years of women at Brown, and the woman who introduced me, who was older than I am, told about going before her graduation at Brown, 3 days before, going to Philadelphia, when abortion was illegal, having an illegal abortion, getting back and walking to her graduation, greeting her parents. She had never told this story publicly. And you could see for her what an enormous thing this was. And there's not a single one of us in the audience that would ever forget that. And women stop me all the time saying, I read your story, I read that you had an abortion, and then they want to tell me theirs. So I think, look, I think the reproductive justice community has been way ahead of this, the rest of us on this. Young people saying we're sick of the stigma, sick of the shame. And I do think that's the only way we're going to have lasting political change. Because otherwise we're just going to live in this world of like, they're in charge, no, they're in charge, no, they're in charge. And that's never going to do anything to actually move us forward on these issues. So I'm grateful. And Cindy, for a woman like Cindy Lee, who's very famous, very well known, that made a big impact. Yeah. Good for her.
So the Supreme Court, yeah, I think we're all really scared.
Yes.
Or many of us are. I guess I'm curious to know what you think the roadmap looks like, whether it's Kavanaugh or whoever Trump decides to nominate and who will ultimately be confirmed, I'm sure. Maybe not, but
Maybe not.
maybe not.
Maybe not. You never, like, if you're not fighting for something that's just outrageously impossible, then you're not fighting for the right thing.
Well, then I could just stop right now, because we're all going to go out and make sure.
No, but I mean, well, I only say that the Kavanaugh fight because, like, I went, and we can talk to the Supreme Court, it is critical that we do everything to fight this nomination. And of course, just like last year, like when they were going to defund Planned Parenthood and we didn't have the votes. Anyway, we could talk about that because I saw what it means to never give up, and people just never, ever gave up. And so I think on Kavanaugh, we have to do that. We have to fight every fight that's ahead of us. And I know one of my lawyer friends is in the audience. There are cases stacked up all across this country on abortion that are just ready to go to the Supreme Court. And this vote is the difference.
Yeah.
Whatever anyone is saying, it doesn't matter. It matters. It's the whole thing. You know, and I think I write a book about the whole Wendy Davis filibuster and that fight over the case there where, you know, because people never gave up, we won that in the Supreme Court. And people kept fighting. And so I think with Kavanaugh, we just have to keep fighting. And if we could push this past the midterms, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be worth it. So just every day, get up, fight another day. Really important.
So I'm going to just ask one more question because I know people apply for a lot of questions. And will you tell us a little bit more about the work you're doing going forward right now since you...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like, I feel like so I'm glad there are a lot of men in the audience. So let's give it up for the men right now. I also believe that women are the most powerful political force in this country. And if we could actually get it all together, we could really completely change. But it's not going to just happen this November. We have to be in like for long haul change. But I do think there are such important signs. And I talked about Alabama. We had the first Latinas ever elected to the Virginia Assembly last year. You know, the first transgender woman elected to the Virginia Assembly. We had, even in, you know, I hate to say even in my home state of Texas, because it's my home and I love it. But we had the first two Latina congresswomen. We've never had a Latina congresswoman from Texas. Two of them are coming to Congress, right? And so I just feel like this is this moment in which women are absolutely on the move, and every woman I know is saying, I want to do more. What do I do? And not every woman's going to run for office, and that's okay. And some of the women are going to run this time, they're not going to win, right? But the thing is, they're going to be even better candidates the next time. And so I just think this is a time, and that's really the work I'm doing. I've been in states across the country now talking to them about how we actually galvanize this. How do we build a political home for women that is taking all of this energy and making sure that it makes lasting political change. So I don't exactly know how I'm going to do it, but that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm committed to doing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So.
I know people have lots of questions, and I want to open it up. Do we have a mic? Yeah. I'm going to put on my glasses to see that.
So I can tell a story if we're waiting for someone to ask a question.
Sure, I'm not pretty shy.
Someone's raising their hand.
You want to go? Okay, take one over
We
here.
can start here.
Going back to language and capturing the narrative, you talked about not using the pro-choice and anti-life. Is that really working? I noticed the other day when the Pope came out against capital punishment, the front page article in the New York Times said the large pro-life movement has not yet taken on capital punishment. So as a journalist, I've seen this language fight for a long time.
Yeah.
How do you kind of get the media and others to not fall into ever using the word pro-life?
Yes.
and certain other phrases. And what is the shortcut language that you use? Because a woman's right to choose and such is a longer phrase than,
Right.
choice.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if we just sat here and talked about all the articles in the New York Times that are making our head blow off, it's hard to get people to change language. I'm sorry, they just wrote an article about Stacey Abrams' race that really, it just really made me upset. Because it was, I think this false equivalencies, which I feel like we're seeing all the time, and because she's running against someone who was like a total right-wing person, I'll just say that, that somehow then she was supposed to be a left-wing candidate, which she's not. But is that because she's an African-American woman, and so the assumption is somehow they're going to put her in this, it just really, that is driving me crazy. So, okay, I got my piece out on the New York Times about that, but it is very hard to change language, and it's a very easy thing to just fall into, and I think one of the challenges is, and this is definitely a generational challenge, folks don't want to be labeled at all. And so I just think political labels in general have outlived their usefulness. And so what we talk about at Planned Parenthood is the right of every person to make their own decision about their pregnancy. And again, it's not a bumper sticker, but it's actually what people believe. And it's interesting because we used to poll people, and we used to only talk to voters who identified as pro-choice. And then we realized there were like millions of people who had they just had their own very personal feelings about abortion, but they absolutely believed that people should be able to make their own decisions. And so in our nomenclature, they would be pro-choice, but they would never use that label because this all becomes so stigmatized. And so I think it's just important that we, sometimes when we can, we just stop, take a breath, and have an honest conversation, and look at the stories of people. I don't think there's a shortcut. But I have seen it time and time again. When you talk to someone and they realize that you're not forcing them into one corner or the other, you can have a very honest conversation and much more fruitful.
Hi, Cecile. I know that it's hard to even, or we don't want to go to the concept of a post-Roe world, a world in which the Supreme Court might either overturn Roe or gut it.
Yes.
But I think it would be really helpful to hear you talk about what can be done at that point and what is being thought about at the state level in terms of organizing and medicine and all the things that would go into keeping reproductive rights.
I guess a couple of thoughts. One is I come from Texas, which they virtually tried to make abortion illegal anyway, even though Roe existed. And that's why I keep talking about why the Supreme Court nomination is so important, because it was really by one vote that they overturned the Texas laws. And we saw what was happening in Texas while those laws were in effect, and people started documenting the stories. Women started going across the border to Mexico and having illegal abortions again. Women began to self-terminate pregnancies. And that is what is going to happen, and in fact is happening, as we know, in a lot of places. Women can now order illegally mifepristone over, through the mail and have a medication abortion. So I think that on the one hand, medical providers have to be prepared to deal with the consequences of folks taking matters in their own hands who can't get to a medical provider. And of course, what I think is the dream of these guys who are pushing all this, aside from the ones who just want to make abortion completely illegal, is it will go back to the states. And that's why all the work that we invest in now at the state level to build the kind of movements that we're building is the most important thing we can do. We cannot rely on the Supreme Court. We haven't been able to for a long, long time, and it really has to be done, that work at the grassroots level. I think the encouraging thing is, it's long, hard work. That's not how this whole movement happened in the first place when Roe was decided. But Young people are more pro-choice, they're more activist. The country accepts that Roe was decided more than 40 years ago. And so I just feel like if we were trying to fight a battle about a right that people didn't believe in, it would be much, much harder. But actually people in this country, they do believe that women have the right to make their own decisions about pregnancy. But it's gonna be some long, hard work, and women are gonna suffer, and women are gonna have to tell their stories. And this is what I'll just end with this, which I try to say on TV whenever I get a chance, is that, abortion didn't start with Roe. It just started being legal and safe, right? And as Ken Edelin would tell you if he were here, that, there are still doctors that will tell you they remember young, healthy women dying in emergency rooms across this country who had botched abortions, and we just can never go back to those days. But that's what this fight is going to be about.
Since you mentioned, fight within the states and localities, and a number of us are sort of Vineyard and New York people,
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether you endorse Cynthia Nixon as the woman governor of New York, and if yes, why, and if not, why?
Right. So, for those of you who I'm sure everyone's read, that Cynthia Nixon, who's been a longtime friend and supporter of women's issues, is running against Andrew Cuomo. I decided, I left Planned Parenthood 2 months ago, and sort of decided this cycle that I'm not going to do anything to contradict a position that Planned Parenthood as an institution is taking, and they actually, the New York affiliate, endorsed Andrew Cuomo. I have not. And so I just, that's hard to do. There's a lot of races I'd like to jump into, so I'm trying to, give a little bit of distance because they don't even have a president yet of Planned Parenthood, and the last thing I want to be doing is trying to so I'm focused on, there are a lot of races in this country that I'm traveling for, and a lot of women who are running, like Stacey Abrams. If you didn't hear her name the first time, you really use your support. First African American woman who would be elected governor in the country. But there are all kinds of races I am involved in, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in New York. Yeah.
Hi, Cecile.
Hi.
I'm Alexandra. I wanted to get back to a point that you made at the beginning about how making trouble is a privilege, and how to use privilege in the broader sense beyond white privilege or privilege that you have in class privilege. And coming from that kind of foundation, when you try to engage in activism and community organizing, in my experience in community organizing, I have struggled in working with my own, reckoning with my own privilege and also with the privilege of my white peers, to lift up the people who are really struggling and doing the work and don't have the privilege to take risks.
Right.
And rather than co-opting your struggle and recognizing that in order for us to use our privilege, we actually have to lose some of it. And so I wanted to ask you, in your history of organizing, how do you manage that balance of kind of using your privilege to create space for folks who don't have that same privilege?
Yeah. I think we're all evolving as organizers and activists, and I think one of the healthiest things that's happening now in the women's space in particular is folks beginning to have hard conversations about this, and try to get better. I definitely have been imperfect in my lifetime, in so many ways. I think one of the things we did at Planned Parenthood was try to actually begin to invest in a whole new generation of leaders and promote them and lift them up, and it's a different organization than when I started, and it will be a different organization, I hope, in the next 10 years. So I just think it's important to be really conscious of it, and all the things you talked about are just, and to be in conversation, particularly with women of color, in a way that we haven't been as a progressive movement. And one of the reasons I left my job is I had the best job in America, I'll be honest. being the president of Planned Parenthood, every day, like, people's lives are changed because they have the chance to get affordable health care or reproductive health care, or they have the chance to get an abortion in a state where no one else is providing them. But I recognize that it was important for me to move aside and, as you said, make space. And I'm really proud that the search committee is majority women of color at Planned Parenthood. And I think it's not my call on who they choose, but I just think it's time that those of us who have real positions of privilege and power make room for other folks. And so that's what I did. Sorry, I can't see you back there, so you might have to stand up.
I'll stand up.
Hi.
Hi, I'm a historian, and I have a book to recommend to everybody here. And I'm sure you know it, Cecile. It's Leslie Reagan's When Abortion Was a Crime. It's a totally devastating book. I have nothing to do with Leslie Reagan. I think I've never met her, but I've taught her book in my classes.
Oh, good.
And it's, you know the book, it's an examination of Illinois records of deaths of women from botched illegal abortions. It's a totally devastating book, and I do recommend it to anybody who's concerned about a future without legal abortion. It's really just stunning, and I just don't think it's well known enough. That's a general comment. I have a question too, which is, I'm old enough to remember the days when Planned Parenthood was being attacked from the left as well as from the right.
And we got all comers.
Yeah.
We say everybody.
But basically, we don't hear those attacks from the left anymore. That is in the media or anyplace else. They seem to have disappeared. And some of it was from women of color, but some of it was just from the left generally. You know, that Planned Parenthood was not radical enough or was not doing what it should do. And I just wonder, what's happened? Has the attacks from the right completely obliterated the attacks from the left, or are there attacks from the left out there still?
I don't know. I just never had enough time to pay attention to the attacks from the left, because the attacks from the right are so profound. But no, I mean, look, we went from an organization. One of the reasons I came to Planned Parenthood is, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I think they hired me because we were a healthcare provider, but we had lost our movement side. And one of the things I'm most proud of, actually, is that now we went from 3 million supporters 12 years ago to now more than 12 million supporters in the U.S., right? And that was because we invested in people and organizing and movement. And not that it's a competition, but sometimes you have to just count. And we're actually now more than twice the size of the National Rifle Association. But that's not enough, right? That's not enough. I mean, we got to put all those 12 million folks into motion. So I think that Planned Parenthood is now caught up more in terms of being the kind of movement we need to be out on the frontier. But there's always more to do. But I'm really proud of the work that Planned Parenthood does. Not only providing health care to millions of folks every year, but being on the front line to fight for reproductive rights and justice. Anyway, what else were you going to tell? Oh, somebody wanted to ask a question. Oh, well, that's good. Okay. But I'll tell the story again. That's great. Yeah.
I think we all want to hear all your
I don't want to
stories.
hold you too late. That's good.
My name's Jenny. I'm a member of Progressive Women of New York, and we are curious that the RHA, the Reproductive Health Act, and the Comprehensive Contraceptive Coverage Act have not been passed in our state. We are not equal to Roe. So if everything goes south with the Supreme Court and decisions are made by the states, healthcare providers, doctors and nurses and others in our organization have wondered whether there will be some sort of safe and legal underground. And I wondered if in states where abortion is no longer so readily accessible, has that started to happen?
It has online, and I think that's going to happen more and more. I guess I just would say, for those of you who aren't familiar with all the New York politics, it's just unconscionable that this has never passed in New York, and that's why we, so thank you for what you're doing. It's outrageous. So I do think that, we know that women on the waves, women around the world will begin to do more in terms of providing medication abortion through the mail. I think that's what's going to happen, absolutely. People Nobody can go to Vegas and get, essentially the equivalent of the Crystone. So I think that's, and I do think we have to demedicalize abortion as much as possible, but women need to have a safe place they can go to be able to get medical care. And that's really what Planned Parenthood is about. And I think there's progress. I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, it's interesting. So when I started, we didn't actually really have a website at Planned Parenthood, and we now have more than 60 million people come every year to our website, and they get information. And they come from every single country in the world, right? So I think one of the things, if I look at the two things where they give me hope, well, many things give me hope, but one thing that gives me hope is that no matter what Congress does, they can't uninvent the internet, okay? And so there are just some things that they really are having a hard time getting in between folks. So I think that's good. And then I just frankly think the medicine is getting better. And we just have to make sure that it's affordable and available to women that need it. Because of course, all of these laws that are getting passed or are trying to get passed, I mean, rich women are always going to be able to get an abortion, always. All of these laws are being passed, hurting the women with the very least access to care, and that's what we've seen in Texas repeatedly. And of course, the same people who are passing these laws are trying to end every other social safety net program so that women could actually raise children that have all the opportunities they should have. Which I think is another important theme, just to kind of lay out there as we kind of think about the world going forward, is, and this is where the reproductive justice community has been just so far ahead of everyone else, which is, it's not just the right to make a decision about your pregnancy, it's about the right to actually have a healthy pregnancy, and then actually be able to raise a child that has access to clean air and clean water, including in Flint, Michigan, right? It's about being able to send your child to public school where they actually get a good education, or be able to send them to the corner drugstore or to their school without being afraid of them being killed by gun violence. I mean, all of these issues are connected, and that's the work that we have to do, in addition to keeping abortion safe and legal. So, okay, so I'm just going to tell you this last story because I know it's hot. I'll probably want to go home and fan off, whatever. But hey, I'm from Texas. I love this. This is like, I'm in heaven. But I think it's important because there's a lot of sad things that we've talked about, or tough things, but I also just think there's a lot of hopeful things out there. And one, actually, my friend back here in Illinois, the interesting thing about, Illinois is the one state this past year where actually the legislature passed and the governor signed a law that reinstated public funding for abortion for women in the state of Illinois. In the home of Henry Hyde. I mean, it's just, so sometimes just crazy stuff happens. And of course, the fight we had with Paul Ryan, over defunding Planned Parenthood, and his big announcement that they were going to defund Planned Parenthood, and the same day he did, you couldn't get a phone call into Congress because the switchboard just melted down from millions of people calling that were irate. And by the way, I mean, I just say about Paul Ryan, don't let the door hit you on the way out, right? It's been real. But really, on a more positive, less snarky note, I just want to give you why I feel so encouraged despite all the incoming news. So actually, when Paul Ryan announced that he was going to defund Planned Parenthood, I went and I decided to go to his district. Because actually, out there in rural Wisconsin, we have 3 Planned Parenthood health centers in his own district, okay? And these are, actually, they don't provide abortion in any of these centers, but they provide preventive care to thousands of folks. And when I went to Kenosha and met this young woman named Lori Hawkins. And she had been a patient before when she was uninsured, or underinsured, actually. And it was because of Planned Parenthood that she had found these ovarian cysts that, anyway, I won't go into all her medical history, but she basically credited Planned Parenthood with making it possible for her eventually to have children, and she now had these 2 kids. And so she kind of came to the press conference to just give back and tell her story. And so I met her, and she talked about her daughter Delaney, so that was great. Anyway, we left, I went back to Washington, and we had this massive mobilization in Washington, and I look over there's Lori Hawkins. She's flown from Bristol, Wisconsin, to come meet with Paul Ryan with her daughter Delaney from his district, because her daughter, her 13-year-old daughter, said, I want to talk to this man myself and tell him Planned Parenthood is the reason that I'm even here today, right? So like, go Delaney. Now, of course, it'll shock you that Paul Ryan wouldn't visit with them, but that's okay. They went back to Wisconsin. They kept organizing. We get down to the end of the fight on the Affordable Care Act. And I don't remember, there was finally one big nationally televised CNN town hall meeting. And I'm listening and watching, and there's Jake Tapper, and he says, well, I'd now like to call on Lori from Bristol, Wisconsin. Okay, so there's Lori Hawkins. Like, 6 months ago, she was like a yoga instructor, and now she's on national television talking about the Affordable Care Act and Planned Parenthood. And so, like, that would be a great, like, end of the story. But here's the last. So, Lori and I keep in touch. I go on book tour. So a couple of months ago, I get a text from Lori. She says, Cecile, I know you're busy and I know you're traveling, but can you call me? And I said, oh, definitely. So I called her and she said, look, I don't know, I just was having dinner with my husband and the 2 kids, and I feel like I gotta do more, so I just filed to run for the state senate in Bristol, Wisconsin. And so Lori Hawkins is on the ballot this year in November, going from an uninvolved, like, silent supporter to someone who has now literally put everything else in her life on hold to go run for the state senate. And so when people ask me, what should they do? I say, be more like Lori Hawkins. That to me is really the story of these days, is that if you're not uncomfortable, then you're probably not doing enough. And there's going to be times you have to get off the field because you get discouraged, and that's okay. The rest of us are going to take your place and wait for you to come back. But I do think this is a moment when our democracy is so fragile and where people are looking for courage from other folks. Because we're better than this. We are better than what's happening in America. And I really believe that if we stand up for what we believe and we shout it as loud as we can and we hold hands with other folks and do this work together, that I actually think we're going to do good things in November, but that's not the end. That's just the beginning. So anyway, I hope you make trouble. Thank you.